With a conversation that seems to have been developing over the past 3 days, which is the back and forth that's been taking place between the former Vice President, Waziri Adamawa Atiku Abubakar, and the presidency. Today's headline reads, APC to Atiku, instigating anarchy, degrading to your status as ex-Vice President. Now, this was disclosed in a statement by the APC's National Publicity Secretary, that's Felix Moka. And in his statement, he's responding to those earlier statements that had been stated by Paul Ibe, who is a spokesperson to Atiku, where he had spoken about the pervasive hunger in the land. And in speaking about the pervasive hunger, he had highlighted the French Revolution, the 1917 Russian Revolution, and also the Arab Spring, and said that if care is not taken, the same ingredients that created these revolutions are prevalent here in Nigeria. That's his position. He also went on to give the example of EndSARS and said EndSARS is, in his own estimation, another example of that, heightened frustration in the polity and so forth that leads to these type of outbursts. Now, of course, in response, the presidency is saying that this is a call for anarchy, that in fact what the ex-vice president is doing is he is trying to incite the masses to rise up where there's no reason to rise up. They're asking for the statistics and empirical evidence of those that are dying of hunger. And they're also saying, well, when you were the vice president, what did you really do to contribute towards the eradication of poverty and hunger? So a lot of these conversations happening. Wenga, I'll take your comments on this, especially given the fact that these comments from Atiku also coincided with reduced inflation numbers, and the presidency also saying that, look, our reforms are working.
Absolutely, Vimbai. The time has come for everyone to tell the truth as it is. The honest truth is that the tension in the land, the hunger in the land, and does not really balance with the intervention the federal government is making. Even the economic experts have come out to say that the figures, despite showing some record stability, still does not reflect the reality. The figures will not put food on the table, just like they say that hunger don't lie. So we need to face the reality. We still need further intervention. Be that as it may, the Atiku Abubakar has had his own time as Nigeria's vice president of Nigeria between 1999 to 2007, and there were some bold economic reforms that he spearheaded under the leadership of former President Olusegun Obasanjo, and we know that those were bold, that made a bold impact. But be that as it may, it's time to separate politics from governance, so that when you are making a constructive input into the way forward, it shouldn't be perceived as politicizing or heating up the polity unnecessarily. I think even prelude to the 2023 elections, we interviewed all the candidates, and I think Atiku Abubakar made one of the most insightful contributions when it comes to economic reforms. I remember that he was one of those who said that the way that while fuel subsidy needed to be removed, that he would engage all stakeholders and it will be a periodic matter. We saw President Tinubu making that audacious move, because that has been the fly in the ointment for several successful administrations. And we also recall that just last year, the former governor of Ekiti State said that during the 2012, when they were protesting against the subsidy removal, that they were only politicizing. So that should go down in history, that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has taken that audacious move to set the way forward. But I think Atiku Abubakar is also coming from the point of experience on how the economy should go, by saying that it will be a gradual process, because every Nigerian felt the brunt when the two bold economic reforms, that's the removal of the fuel subsidy and flotation of the naira. And now recently he said that the oil sector should be divested. We could see what's happening also with the Dangote expansion. It shows that the success is that factor that shows whose idea has come to birth, and we just cannot stop the timing. I think in the oil sector that he has made, there was a time when the depot owners were the power brokers within the oil sector value chain. But somehow, they could not see beyond their nose, pardon me, and we cannot stop someone, a man of vision like Dangote, spearheading that reform, spearheading where Africa should be. Remember yesterday he spoke about a time just before the birth of Dangote refinery that just 2 African countries were importing, and now we're not importing fuel, and now they have also joined the circle. So it shows that he is not putting the depot owners or some investors out of business. But I think the way forward is sorry, let me just quickly add this. I beg your pardon. The depot owners need to come together to do a crowdfunding where they could also have a stake in the oil sector value chain.
Okay. All right. We'll look at that story in greater detail a little bit later, because for now we just wanted to round up on whether Atiku Abubakar, referring to past historical events and comparing some of the ingredients that led to those events, the French Revolution, namely the 1917 Russian Revolution, the Arab Spring, whether that constitutes instigating and whether that constitutes heating up the polity. Because some people might say that his role as an opposition leader is to ensure that he continues to hold this administration accountable. So I think the debate here is whether it is instigating anarchy for one to say that in other places in the world we've seen similar conditions prevailing and this was the outcome that it led to. So in some people might argue and say, well, he's just raising an alarm and saying that, well, let's prevent things from going in this direction, as opposed to him specifically speaking to people and saying, well, people, this is where we should go. It should be a revolution. And you know, we see this back and forth that continues to happen around where we're drawing the line between our freedom of speech, really, and our freedom of expression. But I think here it was a little bit more alarming because of the stature of the person, the individual who has said these statements.
APC is accusing Atiku Abubakar of instigating revolution. Etoma, the same matter again, but politically now.
Yes, we talked about it yesterday, and I think I reacted saying that as an opposition leader, we expect that he says a whole lot of things against the government, but in the process, he should also guard the things he says because he's an opinion leader. You know, so when you say that the way things are going, we are looking at a situation where there might be a revolution, you are planting a seed. And it's not a very good seed you are planting. Most of our young people have not seen large-scale violence, so they don't know what it is. They don't know how it impacts the society. And
no, it's not far-fetched. Look at what happened in 2020 and SARS.
And that's just in Lagos. That was just 3 days. And look at the kind of destruction that happened. You know, so for somebody at that level, former vice president of Nigeria, an opinion leader, one time, the man has held position of authority and has a followership. And influence. People like that shouldn't be careless with what they say.